Hi, and welcome to The Bold Beginner. I'm super excited to introduce today a very new show on interviewing who I like to call extraordinary, ordinary women. Women like you and me that have the same doubts, the same fears, who nonetheless took a leap of faith, changed their path, got out of their comfort zone. My very first guest, super excited, Lynne Yoda.
Yeah.
That's her pseudonym. I won't say too much because I want you to introduce yourself, but in a couple of words, we met a few days ago at random. So yeah, first of all, I'll let you introduce yourself and then we'll dive a bit more into your journey, your project and everything.
I'm Lynne Dowling-Wiley. I've just started a business called Nxt Chaptr after 40 years in the corporate construction interiors business sector, of which primarily based in Australia, but I've worked all over the world. I have now left my 40-year career. I'm turning 60 in a matter of weeks and am starting up a new business for women.
Well, let's leave a little bit of mystery so that we dive into the whole story. You mentioned with a bit of a tone, I'm turning 60, which is great, but I see where you're coming from. It's this thing of I'm turning 60 and I'm just restarting now. And that's what we love here. We would love to know more about the whole process of what made you change completely, what made you go from corporate, this whole career that you had for so many years. Was it a long process? Was it a short process? What came through your mind? We want to hear the story, but we also want to know
the
mindsets. What came through your mind?
Probably the last 7 years, the corporate world in construction and interior design has changed a lot, and it had become an incredibly masculine environment. And I just came to the conclusion when I got quite ill from a lot of stress and very high cortisol levels, and also the reality of a milestone birthday coming up where it was, do I keep continuing in this field, fearing, turning 70 and that's all I've done, not fulfilling my dreams? It just became apparent to me, I wouldn't say an epiphany, but it felt like it. If not now, when? If not me, who? My young designers over the last couple of years kept saying to me, you have so much wisdom. Will you come and join our girl groups and share that with you? So the epiphany that I kind of had was, why don't I do this? Why don't I just take the flying leap and do this? And then, of course, fear and self-doubt came crashing down. I haven't done this myself before. I've always done it for somebody else. I've always been associated with somebody else and kind of been behind the scenes. So I basically sat down and I started doing the pros and cons. What my dreams were, what my joy was, what made me happy. Even the simplest things of walking along the beach without worrying about, I've got to return somebody's phone call, I've got to return a contract. Yeah, that's kind of a snapshot behind. I started thinking initially about just quite random colors that give me confidence, that give me energy, that make me happy. And then that was a starting point because it was a very simple step. From a fear side of it, it released some of the negativity and fear that I was imposing on myself because I had an energy that was bright and happy that I could be drawn to.
I love this because I had so many questions popping in my mind as you were going because it brings so many different aspects. Okay, let's dive into the kind of the meat. You mentioned I had this epiphany. It sounds to me like you had both a slow build-up and then the 60 milestone arrived, and that's when you realize I can't take it anymore almost, right? It's getting too stressful and I should change now. And then you said that self-doubt kicked in. I would like to know how this manifested, what types of questions came. Was it also related to the age? Was it related to your circle, people judging you? What type of fears did you have? Could you put some words on some of them at least? Because I'm sure there were plenty, but maybe the biggest ones that you had?
Probably the biggest one was income.
Income.
The fear of being old and not having enough money for retirement, not having enough money to still take care of my family, not having enough money to pay bills. It was paralyzing. I then sat down with my husband and had a very frank discussion of where we were at financially because he's retiring this year as well, which is just a double whammy on top of income generation. And looked at okay, let's roughly plan 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 year. What do I need? What do I really need? What do I need to pay bills? What do I need to feed my animals? What do I need to feed my family? What is it that I want that in my autumn years, my golden years, my last years, will leave a legacy, make me happy, have my family life happy? The fear was always there. It's always bubbling along underneath, even today. But I then started putting it into just little modules that I could mentally deal with and emotionally deal with. So when I started to feel anxiety and anxiousness coming in, I would take myself on one of my beach walks, connect with water, connect with the ocean, regulate my breathing, and just get my thinking pattern back into flow. And I mapped it out. A lot of us as women, we go, 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 go. We're always answering to the home, to the job, to money, to everything else. But we don't actually sit in the moment and actually map it out. I mean, actually map it out, draw it, even with stick figures in a small time frame. So 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, then 3 years, then 5 years, then 10 years. If you can't think past 10 years, that's okay, because it's probably going to change a lot. Now, Pinterest, sticking it on Pinterest. So I created a visual connection to what I wanted, and then visual connection below that of what the constraints were, to try and identify fears that I had that were paralyzing, to give them a name, and to then put them in the back seat of the car and say, you're not touching the steering wheel today. You're not changing the music today. You're going to sit as a passenger. Occasionally you're going to speak up, but at the moment I need you in the back seat while I get on with what I need to do with concentrating on driving.
Yeah, that's I couldn't phrase it better. It's something that I mentioned quite a lot in my solo podcast, is the breaking down, because those fears seem so huge. But when you actually break them down, either by mapping out what you need, or even putting words, what you said, put words on what is this fear, understand it so that you can say, you don't have control over me, but I'm taking over at least this little fear. And then tomorrow I'll take care of this next little fear. You know, the fact of making it smaller, it's just such a powerful tool to actually be able to move forward. You mentioned that your partner was discussing with you. You were actually like discussing the budget that you need and everything. I know a lot of people don't have necessarily a very supportive circle. It does sound like you had a supportive circle, which is, or not completely.
I do and I don't. So my husband is supporting because he saw this, what the stress and the toll the corporate world was taking on my health and on my emotional state and on our family life. And he also wanted me to be happy, because I haven't been happy for a long time, because I'm very high driven and I had given so much time, and then I had so much guilt related to that he had lost the person that was his wife, that was his friend, and he wanted that back. In saying that though, there is a situation where it's very hard over a small or long period of time when there is a routine and a regular. So 40 years, my husband has seen me in corporate, go to work, high achiever, you know, the corporate world, to then jump into an entrepreneur social impact environment, which he doesn't understand because he's always run his own business, which was a family's business. So it's working through those dynamics, which can be at times very stressful is not the right word, confronting's not the right, challenging. Can be challenging because I have to navigate how I'm feeling, what I'm doing, but I also have to navigate how he's feeling, but also the reactions that he can't consciously control because he's used to this person and now he has this person. So there's the adjustment of that. The other thing is friendships, my immediate that I can count on one hand, are supportive because, again, they saw my health suffer. They saw my emotional and mental well-being suffer. They want the best for me. But then I have the secondary tier, which are the people and the client base that I've built, you know, on LinkedIn, and even just my general business world, colleagues, acquaintances, clients that I've dealt with for 30, 20, 15 years. Can they manage the shift? Will they still stay in contact? Do I have fear of losing them? I did for the first months until I actually sat down And those that reached out to me and said, where are you? I want to stay in contact. That gave me the reality. They're the real people. We use the word in Australia, sussing. Sussing. Researching your tribe. It's finding people that, even if they don't understand, go, yep, I'm going to come down that white water rafting with you. You know, it's going to tip over a couple of times. Yeah, I might come underwater with you, but we're going to get back up because I believe in that you've got the raft and you've got the buoy that's going to be buoyant on that raging river. But, you know, when you get older, especially nearing my age, and I would say over 50, your friendships circle starts to dwindle because it becomes what's real, what's authentic, and what's in alignment with how you feel, your heart, your goals, your values. It's those that just are with you as you, the person, you, the friend, that laugh with you, cry with you. Even if you can't see them, you know, they'll check in. So that also helps alleviate a lot of fears as well, because there's also that fear when you get older. It's the fear of being alone. Because you do, as you get older, your children grow up. If you have children and you become an empty nester, you may or may not lose your husband or wife through death or divorce. So there's that feeling of, what do I do? How do I be strong for me? And a lot of women lose themselves over time because they're giving, and they lose who they are and their sense of identity. I lost myself. I didn't know who I was. I in the process of rebuilding myself, and I was able to get my confidence back where I walked up to a complete stranger in the middle of a rice field, in the middle of nowhere in the world. I went, hi, let's have a conversation.
Which leads to this.
And that far outweighs the initial fear of why me? I like myself to a child again. I'm learning again. And the thing is, the human existence is always for learning and growth. So
that's why I love so much the idea of really jumping into learning, no matter what the age. I'm sure there's so many women that are going to watch you and think, I'm maybe 40 and I feel like it's too late to learn or something. No, it is not. You're 60. Look at you. You're like doing this amazing Nxt Chaptr business that we're going to talk about. Take note. Go and follow. We're definitely going to dive into this. But you know what I'm saying? You're like talking to strangers. And isn't it funny how, like you said, you're wondering, are people going to judge me? Am I going to lose these people that sometimes you don't care about them deep down? You know what I'm saying? It's not all of them, but some people you've met them a couple of times, but maybe it was important meetings for work, you know, that they knew your title, they knew what you were doing for work. And somehow they pop into your mind and you think, what are they going to think? What are they going to think if I do something completely different? At the end of the day, who cares? Like you said, only the people that really matter will be here. Those that are not here, why would you care about them when clearly they don't care about you? Can we touch on the last topic before really jumping on the transition and what you're doing now? Because you mentioned quickly, if that's okay to talk about it, about your health. And I know for a fact that the mental health went a bit down the drain for a bit. Then you went through a burnout. Is that okay to talk about it?
Yeah. So I hit the wall. I didn't hit the wall. I hit the wall and fell 300 feet because I had been going and going and going. Yes, I can handle it. Yes, I can handle it because that's my nature. I got to a point that my cortisol levels were so high in my body that my immune system started crashing. So the Wednesday was when I was made redundant. On the Thursday before, I got rushed to an urgent MRI because I'd had a migraine for 5 weeks. I wasn't getting the correct quality of oxygen to my brain, hence the migraines for such a long period of time. The side effects of that can lead to aneurysm, they can lead to stroke, they can lead to heart attack. The other thing was I had been doing what they call shallow breathing for 10 months. So I had been in a constant state of flight and flight mode, survival mode, for at least a solid 10 months. The damage that was doing to my body, my mental state, my physical state, my immune system was catastrophic. The same time I'd been feeling incredibly ill, I learnt that I had pneumonia. And then through the additional doctor follow-ups, they found out I had RSV at the same time. So here I was with pneumonia, RSV, incredibly high cortisol levels. I then got told I had high blood pressure. My reading was at 172, and at 180, women have heart attacks. There was all of that going on. And I've just gone through the journey of the last 8 years with menopause and all of the becoming a different person that entails. Moods, hormones, headaches, sweats. I was in a really, really bad state. And I also, from a mental state, I had lost my self-confidence. It's a parcel that I've now unpacked. And I did that by a thing that I called ocean therapy or ocean walking. I just have to do this for me. I just have to get the white noise out of my head. I have to get my breathing back in order. I have to get healthy, not only for myself, but I have a daughter, I have a husband, I have animals, I have other commitments. So if I fall down and break, then that falls down and breaks as well. So, yeah.
That's a lot that you came back from. And
yeah.
Congratulations, not the word, but
thank you.
Proud of you for everything that you accomplished, and seeing you today with so much light and energy and happiness, obviously. And I'm sure sometimes there's bits of it that must still be there. But yet you came back from, how do you say, you came a long way.
Yes, yes. Like climbing the mountain when it's sliding and you've got rock slides, and that tree that you're hanging on to, all of a sudden it comes out of its roots, and so you've got to quickly grab another vine or grab another tree. I liken it to that. And then the day that we met, I was in a rice field, which I have always wanted to go. It was so calming and soulful, enriching and heartfelt enriching, and I met beautiful Charlotte. So
serendipity, I call it.
Yes, serendipity. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Really appreciate you for sharing all this. And I would love to talk about the actual transition. So that's kind of the backstory behind it and how, it went to not such a good place. But obviously you came back from it. You're doing fantastic. And you've started this beautiful project, Nxt Chaptr, that we're going to dive into. So walk us through the process. You mentioned already the pros and cons listing, which is great already. Were there some specific steps that you took? Where did the idea come from? You mentioned it a little bit, but if you can dive a bit deeper into this.
So the idea came from having lost myself and having seen some of my friends and some of my business acquaintances as well lose themselves, that as a society, we have forgotten to actually gather like women gathering and helping others. A lot of families now are dysfunctional. A lot of daughters aren't talking to their mothers. A lot of grandmothers are dying early. So that wisdom and that knowledge is not being passed on or shared generation, or even wise young women sharing that generation, because we're too busy. There's no time. If we're not working, we're going to the gym. If we're not going to the gym, we're going to family, or we're trying to learn and get ourselves better. So we're not collectively sitting or gathering and sharing that knowledge. And I had seen some things that with my friends, those going through menopause, those that were single, a multitude. People felt unheard, and very much the whole unseen phenomena of women over 50. So I decided that I could put my skill set and my learning, my resilience for good, to good purpose, and also align with social impact businesses as well. How Nxt Chaptr came was, it's my next chapter. It is also every woman or man's next chapter when they go through redundancy, retirement, divorce, death, empty nesting, changing of their life, changing countries. It's the next chapter of the journey. So that's where the name came from. And the business model came from defining my immediate set of skills I wanted to share, which is resilient life coaching, but then organizing a bigger wellness and holistic participation of it as well. So retreats and workshops where women can go so that they can then step into themselves and then find the strength within themselves to follow their dreams, even if it's just to get a new partner, or if it's just to sell their home, their family home they've been in, or to go back into the workforce, or to leave the workforce and set up their own business, or just to retire. And then what am I going to do? Art, exercise, learn a new skill set, learn archery, learn cliff climbing, learn whitewater rafting. We never know when we wake up that day if we're going to go to bed that night. That's not a conscious thing that a lot of people think about. As you get older, you do. So yeah, it's a multitude. So from that, I just drilled it down into 5 specific modules. But me, it's also just the joy. It's the smile on people's faces, and to see that they now have joy in their eyes is one of the most incredible feelings inside. Just to have a conversation with them and honor them and respect them and treat them as real, just to show them that I see them, they are seen, they are heard. And that, I think, is probably one of my critical messages I want to take forward with my business is you are seen and you are heard. Even if you feel you are completely alone, I want to provide contacts, experience, so that in people's darkest and saddest moments, there's that little ray of hope that they know that there is someone somewhere in the world that thinks of them, considers them, and actually sees them. And that's a very big thing, to be seen. Yes. Because a lot of the Western world is so caught up in filters and beauty, and you have to look like this, you have to be this kind of way, you've got to be that. If you're not, then you're not beautiful, you're not seen. The most beautiful thing in the world is bringing a smile to somebody else's face. And it's also the smile and the glow and the energy that you emit when you are happy and you are confident and you are joyful. I have so many of my family, contacts, clients that have seen my photos on Instagram, because that's how they can follow my journey at the moment while I'm away, sending me, oh my God, I want to go. You're so happy. And I've had some funny photos where my cap looks like I've got 2 heads. I've had ones where I was looking at a swimming pool attached to my bathroom in my resort room, and I didn't have my glasses on, and I walked straight into the pool with my sand shoes and my socks, and they got wet. I have brought these people joy through my joy, and through not being perfect, and through not being exactly a filter, and not through editing. No, just through real connection. They are seeing me, the real me.
Yes, absolutely. Making the unseen feel seen is such a beautiful way of phrasing it. I really appreciate you for that. And I really like the idea that you're leading by example. And I think that's what we're doing today. Just so you know, it's first time interviewing, and I think first time being interviewed for this specific project that you're studying, or no?
Oh, most definitely. This is my first interview of my business for me. So yeah, this is completely raw. Totally raw, unscripted. We've just gotten here together. We had to find a location. I'm flying out. I've got to go to the airport in a couple of hours. Like this is it. This is doing it. You just show up for yourself and just go, yep, it may not work, but it might work, and it might be so extraordinary.
And what is the, sorry to jump in, but what is the worst that could have happened if it didn't work? We sat here, had a conversation.
Yeah.
If we see that it's terrible with it, which I don't think it will be, as this is going,
we'll get a few little good eggs. There'll be a few little good eggs in there.
But you know what I'm saying? If it was terrible, if we were like, we don't even know where to start or what to do, what is the worst that can happen? We just, we keep it for later, or we redo it another time. This is still practice. This is still something that gets you out of your comfort zone, that gets you to take the next step to your business, to my business, to even just us practicing our public speaking, our, exposing ourselves to the world.
Yeah.
This is the way to approach things. Like you said, just showing up again and again, uncomfortable, imperfect. I love this. Imperfect, tripping, falling, not being so good at something. It's okay. We've all been there. It's just that some people don't want to show it too much. It's okay. Not judging them. A lot of people don't want to show it. That's very human. But we need to see more of this.
Yes.
We need to see more of tripping and falling.
And humanity.
Yeah.
It's very much like what I said, if not now, when. For a lot of people, we're programmed that if you're going to start a business, or you're going to start a podcast, or you're going to go to an interview, it's got to be scripted, it's got to be perfect, you've got to have the perfect makeup, the perfect hair, the perfect outfit. And if you don't, that it's not going to reach an audience. There are billion people in the world. We have to stop thinking small. There are going to be people out there that have got the same quirks as you, that are starting exactly the same as you, that are scared, that are fearful, that are broken, that are broke. And this whole, oh, you've got to learn all of this, and you've got to learn this course, and you've got to learn that course. No, there's a lot of free information out there. You just need a little bit of it so that you can define you and your course of action, and then just go for it. If it fails, you will find a backup. If this doesn't work for me, I'll go back to working for somebody. I have a huge skill set. Somebody will take on somebody over 60. But I have, like right now, at this point in this uncertain world, just got to grab life by the horns and go, okay, I'm going to put that foot in the ocean.
Let me try. And I think the trying
sink or swim, or running back out of the wave.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that foot in that ocean.
And the trying aspect is so important, isn't it? Because how can you feel bad about yourself? Because some people are like, what if I fail? But if you fail, you can go to bed at night thinking, I tried. At least I know. I know that this didn't work. I know that this specific idea that I had didn't work, and that's okay. And you know what? It unlocks something. You learn that. You learn that process by just trying. So when you fail, you might fail one idea. It's okay. But you've learned all the steps, and the next one is going to go so much faster.
Yeah.
Because you know exactly, you've broken down already. You're like, okay, I know where to start. I didn't even know where to start, and I learned how to start. Now I know where to start, where to look for things, how to ask people, how to approach the right people. All these things matter. And that leads me to how you built Nxt Chaptr. Do you have because again, some people see this as like a huge mountain. I'm sure you did as well when you started, and you were like, I don't even know. That's the feeling. I don't know where to start, where to look for, what tool, what skill set to use, what not to use. How did you break that down? And do you have any tips on that?
I do. So from a coaching point of view, a lot of people just start up life coaching businesses without any accreditation. I'm not that type of person. I needed accreditation. So I did a lot of research. I did a few free courses to try and work out who was the hustler, who was the spammer, who's just trying to get me into a funnel and sell, who actually wants to share coaching and also have a program, and finding your fit, finding your type. So I did a few. I've just graduated from one recently. And then next year, thank you, when I've got better resources, then I'm going to do a 6-month course to add to my accreditation and then to build. But the other thing is, pick one modality, pick one thing. So for me, it's resilience, life coaching. Now, when you're looking for life coaching, that you'll get NLP thrown at you, you'll get breath work, you'll get a whole plethora. There's like 30 different. Find what works for you. Don't fall down the track of, oh, let's do a strategy call and a planning call. A strategy call and a planning call, more often than not, could be to see how much money or how much your credit card will put into their business. I have spent probably $1,000 in 4 months, max. So it's doing the research, doing the diligence, and also putting a block on when they start with the strategy call. And so that's where you need to research. From a business point of view, it's very, very easy. As I said, I started with colors. The reason I started with colors is because it has to be a fit with you, because if that's going to be your branding, it's got to resonate with you. If it doesn't, it's not going to show up in anything that you put out there in your business card, your website, your Instagram account, your TikTok account. It's you. It's you in color. It's you in print. So have a connection. My 2 colors are orange because that's my energy. That particular tone brings me a lot of joy. I'm always happy when I see that color. The second color is like a kind of a turquoisey aqua, which reminds me of the ocean. It reminds me of the Caribbean Ocean. It reminds me of the beautiful blue, light blue at Bondi Beach and Bronte. You can do your own logo on Canva. Canva is a free, you can purchase as well and upgrade professionally, but Canva is a godsend. It has so many elements to it that can help you with your business, help you design your logo, help you design your business card, your pamphlet, your brochure. And of course, you can do this free. There are some affordable areas that you can do, like Fiverr. If you want to write or do an ebook, you can, hire a ghostwriter as well. So there's specific things that you can do, but you don't have to pay full freight. When you are starting up, resources are low, money is low. You don't need a marketing company. You don't need a PR company. You don't need to be paying like $5,000 per every part of the business to $20,000. Do that once you're established and got a little bit of traction. The other thing is you've got to find someone that you can collaborate with and also have conversations with people, strangers on the street. That's how I've picked up my first 2 clients.
And you never know, jumping on what you said about finding people either to be a founder with you or even to help you. You'd be surprised how by talking to people, you can find some volunteers. Sometimes I've been working with a lot of volunteers for my past business, what I'm doing now, because people want to practice sometimes. You know, that they are learning themselves a skill and they're telling you, I've been looking to actually build up my portfolio. I would love to help you with your website. I would love to help you with your Instagram for a month, just to give you a guidance on the direction that you could take if it's really your kind of weak point. For me, I know that branding is not my strength. I'm actually reaching out to people whose strength is branding. And you can do that with so many things. So many people are actually in a different stage of their life, or they're themselves learning. They want to practice. They want to support project that they believe in. As long as you onboard them with your passion, with your vision, with what you want to do, so many people want to help. So many people want to help, honestly.
If you've got the connection and you do have that real connection and it resonates with them, you would be surprised at how many people will be giving because they like and want to support and help you develop what you do. They can see the benefit to humanity in what you do. And a lot of the coaching courses as well, if they're legitimate, part of their modality of training is you have to do pro bono work. For those that reach out to me either on LinkedIn or through Instagram, please follow me Instagram. I need all the followers I can get. I'm just starting. Lynne Yoda, very easy, Lyne, Yoda, as in, yes, a little Star Wars green person. One of the things is to look at those that you follow in social media and find that resonates with your heart, not just with your business idea, but that you actually have a heart connection with. That will then help you in defining starting up and starting a business.
Love this. So many good advice. So you know what you have to do now. And the thing is, it doesn't apply just for business, right? It applies to literally everything.
Health, life, relationship.
Exactly. Everything you want to start.
Even if you just want to sleep better.
Just anything. Thank you so much for sharing all of this.
Yes.
I guess we'll conclude this back to the viewers. What would be one piece of advice or one strong reflection that you had throughout this whole process that you want to share with the audience that could resonate with them?
I would say, as scared as you are and as fearful as you are, find the strength of your conviction, the strength of yourself. It will come. It is a big world. Collaborations will come. Clients will come. Money will come. It is just taking that step and saying, yes, I am willing for it to come. I want it to come. That would be probably my biggest suggestion. I had forgotten it and gotten quite fearful. And I know when you're starting out again, the confidence levels aren't there, but it's just finding that in yourself. And even if it's reflection within yourself, whether it's your child that makes you happy, your partner that makes you happy, your animals that make you happy, your house that makes you happy, walking by the river, walking by the ocean, whatever, just find that one thing that becomes your little bubble of strength and just feed from that. And also block out any naysayers. That is their life. That is their world. That is their journey. That is not your journey. There's a lot of people in the world that think they know best for everybody else, and you should do it this way, and you should do it my way. Each and every one of us is unique. We're individual. We all do things differently. That is what makes us unique.
Love it. Nothing to add. Thank you so much, Lynne. Thank you for your time. That was, I think, a fantastic first episode. Let us know what you thought, but I think we did fantastic. I think we did fantastic for our first episode. And go and show some support, some love. Lynne Yoda on Instagram, Nxt Chaptr. I will put all the necessary links in the description. It will be somewhere on the screen throughout the whole podcast. But just make sure you go and show some support. That's what we need to do in the women community. Show some love. We definitely need that. Thank you so much again.
And okay. Thank you for having me. And I'm so glad we met the rice field.
That was fantastic.
So go and meet some people in some rice fields or cornfields or whatever, wheat fields, wherever.
Exactly. And if you love that episode, of course, make sure to subscribe to The Bold Beginner. There's going to be more to come, more inspirational stories, and a lot more to share. Bye.
Thank you.